Our next story takes us to Georgia. Live picture there over the Atlanta skyline. This is what we know. The family of twin brothers found dead there. They're pushing back against the Georgia Bureau of Investigation's conclusion that the deaths were suicide. This is the first time we're coming to this story here. I want to get the lowdown from our colleagues at Fox 5 in Atlanta, including from reporter Kim Leffler. She joins me. Kim, thanks for being with us here. Just a tragic set of circumstances. You've been on this story for quite some time. Help us get up to speed. What is going on?
Well, the family of Qaadir and Naazir Lewis say the GBI story just doesn't add up. They're now calling for an independent investigation as well as the release of all evidence in the case.
This is not just our fight. It is a test of whether Black lives truly matter in this country.
The family of Qaadir and Naazir Lewis have pushed back against the GBI's finding of their deaths as suicides.
Those teenage boys would have driven off of a cliff if they had to drive on a curvy, windy, narrow road up a mountain in pure darkness.
So, what's going on, everybody? This is Lady Luck Club. Just wanted to kind of give some updates on the story I have covered. I think I have 2 other videos, and they're intertwined with some other content, but I have been looking into the death of these twins, 19-year-olds that were found in the mountains of Georgia. So far the family has done a presser in the news, of course, the presser meeting press conference, but they've done a presser where they're basically saying they're not in agreement with the results of this investigation, which I think most people can say it's just suspicious and inclusive. It's inclusive. It's just not inconclusive. It's not even making sense. The evidence that they claim that they have basically points towards both twins having their hand on the gun and then self-inflicting and unaliving themselves. But I mean, there's been no evidence to really prove that has been put out. I mean, the forensics that they claim that they have to, I guess, try to show some level of proof that they did this, it hasn't even been released. The family's not going to have to do a FOIA request, and they're going to have to, get all of the information. And I'm sure that they're at a point where they just, they're going to have to hire their own private investigator, because the GBI is just dropping the ball on this. They're doubling down on this whole suicide thing, but they haven't produced any evidence to fully support that. I would have thought they would have put out the ballistics reports by now, but they haven't released anything. So it's just a sad situation all around. I don't know if you guys, if you're not keeping up with the story, recall that there was a man arrested and charged, Scott Curling, age 42, of Hiawassee, with misdemeanor obstruction. Curling is a volunteer firefighter in Towns County who took photos of the Lewis twins' death scene and shared them publicly. I mean, this is disturbing. So the GBI did not immediately respond to her post request for more information. And I think that's part of the problem as well. It's like, the family's asking for information to be released. You have the news reporters asking, the media asking for something to be released. And they're just acting so nonchalant about this and being dismissive. So without the evidence to show that this was, a straightforward suicide type of pact or something, I mean, no one has to believe the nonsense that they're putting out here. They're just saying a bunch of things and they're not really proving it. So I think the most disturbing part is the fact that this Scott Curling, being a volunteer firefighter, he was not an actual firefighter. And then he goes out and does something so disgusting. And he is only charged with a misdemeanor of obstruction. I mean, I've heard, individuals who did something like that get charged with heavier penalties, such as I think it was the coroner or someone working on the crime scene unit when the late Kobe Bryant had, was murdered with the or was killed in the plane crash, and they did the same thing. And I think their charges were felonies, and they lost their job. So there's no job to take from someone when they're a volunteer firefighter. But I mean, this person, and it's a white male that did this to these twins here who were black. I mean, let's just be honest about this. If it were anyone else, they would have had heavier charges filed against them. So the fact that it's a misdemeanor, more than likely, he was charged, probably didn't spend that much time in jail, and definitely released on bond, which I don't agree with at all. It's almost like desecrating, you know, the body and the memory of these twins. So here's an article that kind of goes over that information. You guys can check it out on, I think the HuffPost here is what we're looking at. They're alleging that approximately at 11:05 a.m. on March 8th, the Towns County 911 Center received notification that two people were found dead at the top of Bell Mountain, identifying them as Qaadir and Naazir Lewis. The brothers had booked a 7 a.m. flight to Boston for March 7th, but missed it. They had never previously been to the location where the bodies were discovered either. This is coming from the relatives. We want answers. We want to know exactly what happened to the twins. How did they end up in the mountains? They don't hike out there. They've never been out there. They don't know anything about Hiawassee, Georgia. They never even heard of Bell Mountain. So how did they end up right there? And then, of course, if it was only one weapon found, you're talking about one having to, you know, inflict the gunshot wound upon themselves, and then the other has to watch their own brother, pass away, and then inflict themselves with the same gun. It's just beyond logic at this point. It makes no sense. So we're definitely keeping up with this. Like I said, I've done two other videos for sure. And one of them is kind of intertwined with the reporting that I've been doing on this corrupt judge here in Fulton County who is under JQC investigation facing 30 misconduct charges, some of which he actually admitted to. So if you guys make sure you check out the content on our channel. Um, this is a very sad situation all around. And I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. I will not be able to comprehend something like this with my kids. I just wouldn't be able to comprehend it. So, of course, my prayers and condolences to this family. The fact that they lost, both of the children, this mother, this father, is hard enough and stressful enough. You add on top of that this ridiculous nonsense that has not even been proven with evidence about this being some sort of suicide type pact thing. It's just absurd. And then you have some volunteer firefighter taking photos of them and sharing them on the internet. It's disgusting. So this double suicide thing is just ridiculous. Um, the family is now going to be requesting, of course, information and facts to be presented to them. Naturally so, especially to the mother. So just if you guys can, please make sure you're tuning into this because they deserve some justice here. And the GBI is just being too vague and doesn't seem to be very thorough with this, especially when you get a volunteer firefighter that basically gets a slap on the wrist for, you know, just handling these bodies. And it seems like he was the one that called it in. How did he know to go to the top of the mountain? I mean, what was he doing up there? That makes no sense. So those are the type of questions that the family and anyone with a brain has been asking here. How did they get there? And if they were discovered by this so-called volunteer firefighter, of all the people that live in Hiawassee, Georgia, how is it that this one volunteer firefighter just so happened to go to the top of this mountain and then find these two kids deceased? This is ridiculous. So either way, that's the update so far. And I think the last, presser that the family held was about 2 weeks ago. I haven't seen anything else. Um, since then. Hopefully the family gets the justice they deserve, but it's definitely worth, putting that pressure on GBI and helping the family to advocate to find out the truth in this. I don't know why this volunteer firefighter has not been thoroughly interrogated, but we come across his interrogation if he was even interrogated. I will definitely check out that video so that you guys can see that this is a bunch of crap from the GBI. Very disappointing. Either way, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you all for all the support here in the LLC. Leave your thoughts and comments below in the comment section and make sure you hit the like button. Subscribe if you're enjoying the content here that is coming from the LLC, as well as consider becoming a member. So I want to thank all of you for the support. And until the next video, look out. Deuces.